The Last Whisper of the Crystal Forest. Genre: dark fantasy with touches of mystery and subtle romance. Setting: a dying world where magic fades and nature is corrupted. The Forest de Cristal, once a source of magical power and beauty, is now withered and inhabited by twisted creatures. The last habitable city, Aethel, clings to its existence, governed by icons dark and shrouded in secrets. Main characters: Lyra, a young woman marked by a strange connection with the Crystal Forest. She possesses an unusual sensitivity to residual magic and visions. It's fragmented pieces of the past. She is stubborn, intuitive, and harbors a deep sadness for the decline of her world. 20-something. Kaelen, a mysterious and taciturn warrior, exiled from Aethel for crimes that he does not remember. He possesses exceptional combat skills and a strange resistance to the corruption of the forest. He is tormented by nightmares and seeks redemption. 30-something. Scene 1. The walls crumbling Aethel, a presage in ash. The sky over Aethel was a perpetual canvas of grey ash, remnants of the Great Decay that had consumed the world's magic. Lyra moved among in the deserted streets, selling withered herbs to desperate citizens. He felt the weak pulse of the remaining magic in the land, a dying whisper that resonated with his own pain. A strange agitation ran through the crowd. A group of somber guards dragged a chained prisoner towards the city gates. It was Kaelen, his face marked by harshness and his eyes dark. Full of an ancient sadness, rumors preceded him, a dangerous pariah, a murderer. But Lyra felt something different upon seeing him, a dark but familiar resonance. That night, Lyra had a vision. He vividly dreamed, the Crystal Forest in its past glory, luminous trees singing magical melodies, and a shadowy figure corrupting everything with an icy touch. He awoke with a shiver, the feeling of imminent danger lurking in the heart of the forest. Visualization: Aethel, a shadowy city with crumbling buildings under a greyish sky. Lyra, dressed in simple clothes scillas, moving among the desperate crowd. The arrival of Kaelen chained, the people's reaction: fear, curiosity, hate. Lyra's dreamlike vision: the vibrant crystal forest, and then see, breaking a dark figure in the foreground. The exile and the whisper of the forest. An encounter in corruption. Kaelen was thrown to the outskirts of Aethel, to the limits of the crystal forest. Corruption was palpable there. Trees with twisted branches like claws, the ground covered in a viscous substance, and the air heavy with an unnatural silence. However, to his surprise, he did not. I felt consumed by the darkness like many others. Something in me seemed to resist it. Lyra, driven by her visions and a strange need to understand Kaelen, ventured into the forbidden forest. Oh, he found Kaelen fighting a deformed creature, an ancient animal twisted by corruption. Its movements were ferocious and precise, despite its apparent desperation. Lyra, although startled, she felt a connection with the corrupted forest, an intuitive understanding of its pain. Involuntarily, a faint glow emanated from her hands, briefly disorienting the creature, giving Kaelen the opportunity to finish her. Kaelen looked at her with distrust and surprise. "You? What are you doing in this place?" "I feel something here," Lyra responded, her voice barely a whisper. "And I felt something different." Visualization: the corrupted crystal forest, twisted trees, viscous ground, oppressive atmosphere. Kaelen fighting a deformed creature with agile and desperate movements. Rados. Lyra's arrival, her fear, and her strange connection with the forest. The faint glow emanating from her hands. The mark and the fragmented memories. A tacit pact. Kaelen noticed a strange mark on Lyra's arm, a pale crystalline pattern that seemed to radiate a faint light. He had a similar mark, hidden under his clothes. Touching it, fragments of memories assaulted him, blurry images, bright tree branches, a forgotten melody, and a feeling of profound loss. Lyra also experienced waves of memories when touching her mark, fleeting visions of a girl running between trees, luminous holes, and a soft voice singing a comforting song. Both realized that they shared a mysterious connection with the crystal forest before the decay. Moved by the curio and a tacit need for answers, they formed a precarious pact. Lyra would use her sensitivity to guide Kaelen through the corrupted forest, and he would protect her from its dangers. Visualize Ion. Close-up of the crystalline marks on Lyra and Kaelen's arms. Short, dreamlike sequences of the fragmented memories they experience when touching them. Luminous trees, a girl running, a soft melody. Lyra and Kaelen observing their marks with surprise and confusion. The silent decision to form an alliance, the corrupted guardians and the unexpected resistance, dangers in LA darkness. As they ventured into the crystal forest, they faced the corrupted guardians, ancient creatures of the forest now deformed and hostile, serving a dark force that they still didn't understand. Kaelen proved to be a formidable fighter, his ferocity fueled by desperation and an instinctive ability to anticipate his enemies' movements. Lyra discovered that his connection with the forest was not only one of sensitivity. He could feel the weak points of the corrupted creatures, the echoes of their ancient nature that still resisted the darkness. His guidance resulted, it is crucial for the survival of both. In a particularly dangerous encounter, Kaelen was wounded. Lyra, driven by a sudden fear of losing him, channeled the residual magic of the forest through Ez de Sumaka, creating a crystalline energy shield that protected them. It was an instinctive act, revealing a latent power that she herself did not know. Visualization. Tense and dark fight scenes rise against the corrupt guardians, deformed creatures with glowing eyes and unnatural movements. Kaelen fighting with agility and ferocity. Lyra sensing the creature's weak points and guiding Kaelen. The moment when Kaelen is wounded and Lyra fearfully creates a crystalline energy shield. The secrets of Aethel and the shadow of the council, a conspiracy revealed. Their travels, they took them to ancient ruins inside the forest, remnants of a previous civilization that had flourished thanks to crystal magic. They found inscriptions and artifacts that spoke of the Great Decadence not as a natural event, but as a deliberate act, a betrayal from within. The clues pointed towards Aethel and her ruling council. Lyra recalled fragments of conversations, her rumors in the city, mentions of dark rituals, and the suppression of the ancient wisdom of the forest. The truth began to take shape. The decay had not been a catastrophe, but a conspiracy to control the remaining magic. Kaelen also began to remember fragments of his past. He was a protector of the forest, loyal to the ancient civilization. His crimes were actually his attempt to stop the council's betrayal, memories erased and distorted by dark magic. Visualization. Ancient ruins covered in moss and vines within the forest. Lyra and Kaelen decipher Ando inscriptions and examining ancient artifacts. Blurred flashback sequences of Kaelen as a protector of the forest and his confrontation with members of the council. The growing understanding in the Lyra and Kaelen's sharp points in revealing the truth. Scene 6. The withered heart and an unexpected bond. A refuge in desolation. They found a small clearing within the forest that still preserved a bond. No trace of its former beauty remained, a circle of pale flowers emitting a soft light. It was a place of calm amidst the corruption. There, the defenses of both began to crumble. Kaelen revealed the depth of his pain at the loss of his memory and his world. Lyra shared the burden of her connection with the dying forest, feeling responsible for its suffering. In the Deso, in their collaboration, they found comfort in each other. There was a moment of unexpected closeness, a silent understanding that transcended their initial alliance. A subtle attraction began to bloom between them. Born from shared adversity and a deeper connection to the forest's destiny. Visualization. A tranquil clearing with pale, luminous flowers amidst the corrupted forest. Kaelen sharing her pain, her face showing vulnerability for the first time. Lyra revealing her emotional burden. A moment of silence and connection between them, meaningful glances. The assault on Aethel and the awakening of power. The battle for light determined to stop the council and reverse the decay. Lyra and Kaelen returned to Aethel. They found the city even more gloomy, the influence of council extending like a shadow. With the help of some disgruntled citizens who remembered the times before the decay, they led an assault against the council's fortress. Kaelen fought with righteous fury, his combat skills now fueled by the recovery of his memory and his loyalty to the forest. Lyra discovered that her connection to the crystal forest was as powerful than she ever imagined. She could channel the residual magic of the earth, weakening the council's defenses and empowering her allies. The mark on her arm glowed intensely, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. In the final confrontation with the leader of the council, a corrupted mage who had benefited from the decay, Lyra unleashed all her power, invoking the memory of Crystal Forest in its glorious form. The illusion weakened the mage, allowing Kaelen to deliver the final blow. Visualization. The assault on Aethel. Scenes of fighting in the dark streets, City Nos rebelling against the council guards. Kaelen fighting fiercely, remembering his skills as a protector. Lyra channeling magic through her mark, weakening the enemy defenses. The final confrontation with the leader of the council, the invocation of the memory of the crystal forest by Lyra. The last whisper and a new hope, a dawn in the crystal. With the leader of the council defeated, the influence of dark magic began to recede. Lyra and Kaelen returned to the heart of the crystal forest, to the clearing of pale flowers. Together, they channeled the remaining magic, remembering the forgotten melodies of the luminous trees. Slowly, the corruption began to yield. Small green shoots emerged from the withered ground, and a faint glow began to emanate from the twisted trees. The crystal forest was not dead, only sleeping. While observing the first ray of sun filtering through the branches, dyeing everything a soft golden color, Kael, he took Lyra's hand. There was no longer distrust or darkness in his eyes, only a deep gratitude and a silent affection. The last whisper of the crystal forest was no longer an agonizing lament, if not a faint promise of renewal. Their future was uncertain, but together, Lyra and Kaelen, united by their connection with the forest and the bond that had blossomed in the darkness, would face the dawn of a new world. Visualization. Lyra and Kaelen returning to the pale flower clearing. Together, channeling magic, remembering melodies. Small green shoots emerging in the forest. The first asked sunlight filtering through the branches. Kaelen taking Lyra's hand, their gazes full of hope and affection. The forest beginning to regain its light. End.